Hello, everyone. Welcome back to part two of Mental Health Awareness Month on Trap Chat Live. Yes, my esteemed panel is back, and this week I'm back in the driver's seat. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I have Dr. Kimya Dennis, Dr. Kendra Jason, and Sarah Morgan here with me.
Oh, wait, I
Ladies,
gotta change my name again because I'm left
if
out.
you could introduce yourselves to the folks who may not know you, and then we're going to jump right in. Kendra, since you're first on my side, she's frozen. Kimi, take yourself off mute.
I'm Kimya Dennis. Hello.
Sarah, she's so
I
like,
she's so simple. Oh
she's so
my
extra.
god, so
So extra.
extra in the minimalist way. I can't ever get enough. I am Sarah K. Morgan. I had to put the K in because I don't want to be the only one without a K name. So Sarah K. Morgan, and I am the Director of Equity and Inclusion for Humoriso, coming to you today from North Carolina. Hello, everyone.
And the birthday
One time for
girl.
the birthday girl. One time for the birthday girl. One time for the birthday girl.
Oh, she got it. Oh, wait, is that a birthday duck? Okay, you're
Somebody
delayed.
gave me a birthday duck today at a
I know
restaurant.
that's right.
That's so sweet.
And I was like,
Okay,
how appropriate.
it is.
How
So
appropriate.
I am Dr. Kendra Jason, or just Kendra, and I am the founder of Work for Change LLC, a workplace equity consultancy, as well as a associate professor at UNC Charlotte in North Carolina. Today is my birthday. It's my presidential year.
What?
Oh,
Faux.
44. So
Yeah.
I got my duck ready to go.
Yes, and I got the elephant in the background with the happy
Thank
birthday
you.
message because, as you
Yes.
all may or may not know, we are all members of the illustrious Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Oh my! Oh, that was crisp. I like it. But yes, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Last week, we talked about the misconceptions of being a mother slash auntie in the workplace or caregiver in general. We got some great information and some good things to take back for us on like the types of language that we should be using in terms of nurturing and mothering from our resident keep us in liner, Dr. Dennis. She let us know, well, first and foremost, you're not going to talk to me like I'm somebody's whatever else. So take a look at that. It is on all of the socials. It's on my LinkedIn page, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube if you want to take a look. But this week, we're talking about whether or not being first and only is a recipe for being first and lonely. I don't know how many of you saw a recent article come out talking about loneliness being one of the newer uh, health risks, like it being one of them, it being a major health risk, and not just because it's we're not in 2020 anymore. We understand what happened then, but even now, 3 years later, it is being recorded as one of the greatest health risks, that being loneliness. And many of us have been in situations in our professional lives where we were the only, maybe even the first, maybe the first and the only. So we're going to dive into that today. But the first question, always like to do a health check. Thanks to Sarah for uh, laying the foundation for that. I like to put my own spin on it. So on a scale of nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up, as my friends from Texas say, fair to middling or below the line. How are you feeling today in terms of your mental health and well being? We're going to start with because we didn't get to the last time, the birthday girl again. We're gonna try Dr. Jason. Are you?
I'm all the way up.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
No, so
The
seriously,
birthday girl.
today is my birthday, and I take it very seriously. I am in control of my work schedule, so I didn't
love
work. I did some mentorship. I went to the gym. I got
I
a
love it.
massage,
Ooh.
and I took a bubble bath today, all before picking up my cake, my homemade cake from my sister. And now I get to spend time with my sorors and sister friends. And so it's been a really, really, really good all the way up day for me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Brr, 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 brr. I wish I had one of those. Yes. SK Morgan. That's your Delta name. You know that's your Delta name. SK Morgan.
So I think what's the middle one? Something to Midland, fair to Midland, fair to Midland. I'm gonna go with the fair to Midland. It's not been a terrible week. But it has not been the best week ever. And y'all can see, I got my wrist wrapped up. So, dealing with that. So I'm gonna say fair to Midland. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Dennis.
Hey.
Hi.
So when my Monday starts, I feel like Friday. I'm always ready. So mentally, I'm always just ready for a weekend, and that's just how I always feel. It's like,
So you all the way up?
I just don't always feel like being bothered. So, and I'm not one of those people who act like I want to be bothered. So it's just,
I don't.
They're like, hey girl, like, so yeah. I'm, on the scale from 1 to 10, I am.
That was not the scale.
I don't know. Girl, bye.
She's okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Indecisiveness. There we go.
It's the smile at the end though, like.
Well, my day has been fair to Midland, but this call has pushed me
all the way up.
All the way up.
All the way up.
Already. So yes. All right. Now let's get into the seriousness. Well, it will not be serious. It will always be serious / our joke time.
Serious-ish.
I'm gonna start with Sarah for this one. And then go around, as they say, the the horn. What
this
are
is that movie Belly? Sorry, the movie Belly when they do the horn in movie Belly. Y'all don't remember the horn scene in the club? Okay, bye.
I just remember Back to Life. That the bass drop part. That's all I remember in the club and the shooting. Anyway, what are the benefits of being first and only, and are there any?
Very few.
Okay.
So in the time, and I've had the opportunity at several moments in my career to be the first. And when I think about what the benefits were for that, obviously, anytime that you have an opportunity to advance in your career, that naturally feels good. When you have an opportunity to advance and you know that you are the first of your identity, whatever that is, to hold that particular position or reach that level or win that award or whatever the case may be, there's a sense of pride that comes along with that, and that quickly changes into a burden for representation. And so for me, I think, but that good sense of pride is a benefit, and it lasts and lingers for a little while. So I'll say that definitely is the benefit of it. But when I reflected on this question, I saw way more drawbacks to to that than I did in terms of benefits. And I'm curious for the other women whether they felt the same way or whether they felt that there were more benefits that I may just not have identified because I'm in a different headspace than I was at those times.
Kimya, you shaking your head?
There are no benefits.
Damn.
So,
Nah, man. Nah, man. Nah, man.
I mean. So like when I put myself into these spaces, being the first to do something, it's wonderful initially, but we have to understand how that shapes demographics and cultures. So, for example, as an African/Black woman, people expect to be the first to mean that now I need to care about everybody's input, everybody's feedback, everybody's requests, everybody's formatting. Even when I did start the first ever child free research in 2013, it was, it wasn't really Black folks who wanted the feedback. It was outsiders who thought that they could define child free to African/Black people. Same thing in academia. It's actually what my shirt says when I, years ago, was
I can't
told
see
by,
words.
that you sounded more like an activist than a scholar. That is something that, an outsider, that's the demographic, the characteristic that I'm going to use to describe an outsider, said that to me when reviewing my pedagogy and as an academician. And so this is where I hold, okay, I can go to the next question with this part, but I will just say being the first is not remarkable because 99.9% of every place around the world that brings us in, they want us to be their token Negro, nothing more. They celebrate us. They excited that I'm outspoken, but they want my outspokenness to be based on their opinion, and it never is because I don't care about their opinions. Yeah.
Right. Kendra?
Yeah, I think my thoughts really closely align with what Sarah Kay first said, where initially it feels really good anytime you work, and you get recognized through promotion, through advancement, increased visibility, or you're put in spaces where you're told you can do the work that you've been striving to do. And this leads me into Kimya's answer of, you get a lot of promises or you get a landscape when you walk into these spaces, but the spaces don't end up being safe spaces for us because they're not created for us, right? And so, and I think that's exactly, why you brought this question to bear, because then we're like lonely in this vast landscape where we're out of reach and out of touch with those who we used to be in community with, and we don't have the resources, the work that we were told that we were positioned to do, right? And then it's really hard to form new collaborations and friendships and partnerships in order to continue in your advancement. So yeah, I can't necessarily say, of course, that there are no benefits, because earning more money, getting more job security, you know what that means. Right. It's a double-edged sword, and I think Dr. Dennis articulated it well in that sense. But I really do appreciate you tying the topic of loneliness into those situations, because people often just want to celebrate the advancement or celebrate the event. It's like thinking about the wedding and not the marriage, right?
Ooh. Yeah, listen. So
that's a word. We can stop this live right there.
Let's pause. Ooh. Yes, that
Go ahead,
part.
put that in the chat.
Can we do a theme song? Remember the old school promises, promises, you can't keep promises.
Say Christopher Will.
As soon as Dr. Jason said that, I said promises. I ain't want to interrupt.
Yep.
Well, you know what's funny, Kimya, too? Sometimes these positions don't come with promises. It's like like I was in a new position. It was uniquely created, and I was in it. And literally, what I was told is that you'll be building the plane while you're flying it. They had no expectations because they didn't know how to do it. They just knew I had the skill set to do it, right? Which I think Black women are often put in positions where we are either cleanup women or we're needed to create something new in a space where no one else knows what to do, so they don't really know how to evaluate us or support us, in that process as well. So it's funny, I can't even really say promises because they kind of just, they just kind of, throw us out there and then see what we can make of it. And that's also an unfair position too.
Yeah. That's been my experience for the most part, that the benefit has been the drawback. It's like you get there, you're like, yes, on this thing. And they're like, but what's my job?
Yeah.
like, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm sorry, can I do something? They're like, okay. No, it's fine. I'm like, wait, I would like to do. No, we don't need you for that.
Mm-hmm. And then you fast forward 18 months, and it's like, what do you do? And I want to talk about the value you're contributing and the ways that you've helped us to move forward. And I don't think that your vision of what this role entails aligns with our vision of what. And then that's Halle Berry, Air Benet.
Shout out to Halle Berry at the graduation.
Back in 1995. Seven, my bad. That was 7. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what ends up happening, and we're reacting this way, like take a sip, peek out, because we've all experienced that. And I know for me, it definitely did not leave me with a good sense of psychological safety in my workplaces at all, because I was in this perpetual mode where the target could be shifted, the rug could be pulled out from under you at any moment in time. And at the same time, there was I felt this incredible pressure to perform without any real parameters around what excellence and performance even looks like.
Yep.
But I'm here and I got to do something, right? I got to do, like, I got to do something. I got to show up. I got to be excellent because my people are dependent on me, and now, and then I feel responsible for the people potentially coming after me. I can't mess this up for the people, for the culture. Whew. Like there's a tremendous burden that comes with that.
Would you say that's the biggest drawback for you? I know I skipped that part of the question, so I'll just go with, what do you think is the biggest drawback?
The loneliness of it, and the ways in which your employer, and in most of the cases of what we're talking about, these organizations who've tasked us and appointed, promoted, whatever, placed us in these, hired us in these positions, they have zero understanding that any of that is going on with you. There's no empathy, there's no support, not emotional support, not financial support for the things that you're trying to do. And when you are I know this, well, we all know this, like from working and doing diversity, equity, inclusion work, when the organization is not primed for your visible difference, whatever that visible difference may be, anything that you say, do, request, any act that doesn't align with the things that they have deemed normal is going to be magnified. The difference of it is going to be magnified even more if they have not been indoctrinated in the ways of inclusion, and since inauthentic inclusion to boot, which is still way too rare in most of the positions that people hold across industries, across geographies. And so not only is my role undefined, but I'm showing up inside of an organization that has not been primed for my arrival, and I'm being scrutinized socially in how I interact with the people that I work with, and my work is being scrutinized. My contribution is being scrutinized as well. So I have no outlet within the organization because I can't connect socially with these people because they're not prepared for the
Right.
ways in which I show up. And I can't connect with anybody on the work because they're not prepared for me to produce anything. And so all of that just really manifests itself into an incredibly difficult and lonely, and in most cases unsustainable experience.
Absolutely unsustainable. That's a great word. I want to pause for just a minute and bring in one of the comments from Jamila Brooks. Sounds like the flight of a baby eagle when the mom drops the bird to teach it to fly. Like, shoot, like, what's fly? Like, what is flying? Ooh.
Yeah.
Kimya, did you want to add something to that in terms of what you feel is the biggest drawback?
Yeah, so oh God, there's just so much. This is actually part of the research that Dr. Kendra Jason and I did about Black women in academia.
Wow.
Oh, you can find the 2018 publication from the ABS journal on my website.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to say this. I hold our people accountable for continuing this routine. Because, like,
routine, explain what you mean by the routine.
It's the same routine for 5 centuries regarding race. Like, they do the same thing to African/Black folk for 5 centuries, right? So those of us, like, even when I was still full-time faculty, I wasn't doing the whole DEI. Like, I'm opposed to bias trainings in general, but I wasn't playing that game anymore. I knew that there's certain things that I understood more. And I also understood that a lot of times when people support us, they support us until the people complaining about us are the loudest voice that impact things like marketing, recruitment.
Say that part.
So they'll tell you, like, we support you, but they really think as African/racially Black folks that we stupid. Like, they really do think we stupid. So they don't realize the things that happen behind our backs. They don't realize that, I'm gonna keep calling them outsiders, that if they complain enough, every single person, I'm saying this literally, every single person who claims to support us turns their back on us with the quickness. They think we don't notice. And I can tell this as an academician when I go to my former employers' websites and don't see my name on there, despite the fact that I'm the one who created an academic program.
Wow.
I know it's because the outsiders complained enough and they're like, ooh, we gonna remove our name and ain't nobody gonna notice. This is just what I just tell our people. This is where we have to reflect. There's nobody who's gonna rescue you. There's nobody who's gonna save you. They can bring you in and pretend that you're a trailblazer. They're doing it because they might consider you gullible. They'll consider you someone who is not going to challenge nobody. They're going to consider you someone who's not well-read and knowledgeable beyond a New York Times bestseller book. They're going to consider you someone who's agreeable and everything is just surface level. Yeah. And this did not get created in 2016. I always have to, as a Black sociologist and criminologist, I always explain this ain't a new problem. This is centuries of issues that Black folks have explained to our own people. And it's been highlighted by people like Malcolm X and other trailblazers, that what does it mean to be brainwashed, that you keep following that same pattern that Dr. Anna Julia Cooper warned about, Du Bois warned about, Paul Laurence Dunbar warned about, they warn about the dueling identities, they warn about the double consciousness, they warn about all of this, but then they using outsiders terminology like code switching and imposter syndrome. It's that same routine why are you doing that same routine, thinking that you're really coming in to change some things? I tell people every time, you're not changing anything. You're creating something, because I created an academic program. I changed some things in terms of curriculum and evaluations, but I know that it's all on my back. Because when I bounce, they not gonna make some groundbreaking things for real. Because they're like, Kimya gone, shoot, that angry Black woman's bounced. Yes. So we just have to be honest as a people as to what our goal is. I always tell Black folks, uh, I'm not a proponent of using catchphrases like DEI, but people who say that they're experts in DEI and all that stuff, just be honest. Are you doing this to get a job? Are you doing this to write a book that ain't nobody but white people gonna buy anyway, no matter what you say? I mean, it's true. Like, if you're writing a book that's criticizing white people, including white women, it's gonna be white people that buy the book. I mean,
I'm clutching my pearls.
That's the majority of employers. That's why things become bestsellers. You're not following the groundwork of our people and what we've done for centuries. You're doing the new stuff. So therefore, you're actually quite obedient. You were hired for the surface appearance of disobedience. You're basically a poster child. They're going to put you on the website, some handouts. Look at this DEI expert. Ooh, she even got locks or an afro. Watch out there now. But when it comes to real change making, they know you ain't doing nothing. And then if you add colorism with it, of course, the melanin of people also shifts what message they want to convey as well, in terms of standards of beauty shifting and knowledge. So I just always tell our people, like, what is your real goal? Don't consider yourself a change maker when you are a money maker. Black people, you always have known the difference.
Put that in the corner.
And I consider LinkedIn to be an illustration of people being hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, pretending that there's no difference.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally a technology illustration of what Black folks do when they say, I am dismantling white dominance. Hire me. Like, hello? Like, come on now. So yes, workplaces will keep hiring you as the one. And that's going to be the message that they send. And you're going to be very complacent, compliant. You're going to pretend that you're doing it for a larger purpose. You're going to be like, yes, I'm kissing butts, but it's going to reach larger goals. To anyone who complains, you're going to call us divisive, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, Black people, as Harold Cruz writes, Black people have never had a revolution because this is the same nonsense over and over again, the same jargon over and over again.
I like that. And it was a little bit triggering for me, to be quite honest, because I thought back to some situations I've been in where I've actually been silenced, where I thought that I was going to be doing this great thing. Like, hey, Kirsten, go. And I'm going to point back to one of the most hurtful situations. We were picking a new applicant tracking system, like enterprise-wide. And that's a big deal when you work for a company that's international. That's a big deal when you're a representative of the organization. And to get feedback from my boss, not that what I was saying wasn't correct and the questions I was asking weren't good, but just that, hey, you're just there to bring us back information. Don't say anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that hurt. So when you say, like, the original thing was not about change maker versus money maker, but it was like, you're not here to change anything. You're here to create. And I thought about that as well. And I was like, if I had that mindset of creating things for myself, meaning building up my own toolbox, that I probably would have fared much better and not had as much hope and expectation to be let down and disappointed as hard as I was. So thank you for always being blunt.
I just want to say, well, this is where I hold accountable. Black people have a tendency to worship our ancestors, worship our elders without having knowledgeable, factual dialogue about who are you really listening to? Are you only listening to elders who mentor you for the goal of advancing in your career and making money? Because that's where I hold older Black academicians accountable. Because the origins of Black sociologists and Black academicians for over a century are trailblazers for change making and risking your job. I mean, I always explain to people we've always been at risk of not being a full-time academician. Dr. W. B. Du Bois was fired by academia and by NAACP before he formally became part of white communism for money purposes. So I always explain this to people because this false presentation of the past generations of Black elders and Black mentors has depicted our people as being taught to just always smile. And I always tell people you have to have a factual representation. Teaching our people to smile, to be alive and safe, is different from teaching you to smile in a way that's falsely presenting your people. Mm-hmm. That's why I just always understand what it really means to have those dueling identities. Our people are not teaching us to be tokens and sellouts. It's teaching that you do have to pay the bills, right? So we all are not going to be fired. It's just that we have to know what are the deal breakers. And we can't always blame other people, like teachers who are blaming book banning on politicians. Well, if you comply with that every single time, now you have to stop pretending you're not a decision maker. So this is where the accountability comes in. So I always just tell people, you have to admit you're the token if you're bothered by a book being banned. But any other time, you're celebrating a book that you chose for your class as change making until somebody banned the book. So this is just where the accountability is very important for consistency.
Thank you. Anything to add, Kendra?
No, that was a lot. No, but what I will.
She froze.
You what did I?
You're back.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't. Okay, so what stuck out to me is when you said is we don't make change, we create. So that was something that resonated with me as well. So, but in addition, nothing else in addition.
All right, great. Well, let's move on to the next question if we even need to be quite honest. Right? Considering that there are ongoing gaps in representation and inclusion in the workplace, what are some ways that organizations can actively support employees who are experiencing those negative effects of being first and only? And then I'm going to add on a second part to that. Is it even their responsibility?
Kendra got a good answer.
Kendra? Kimya put you on the spot, so
she did.
I know. I hope I'm not frozen.
On her birthday too. You're not frozen. She did that on your birthday. That was nice.
Kendra got all these publications on these important. So I want Kendra just.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I think about is it goes back to what Sarah Kay said earlier.
I love how. I'm sorry. I love how every time Sarah Kay.
That's your new name.
Yep.
They have to do the work first to put in a concerted effort to clean up their workplaces before you bring us in, right? And I know that's like, I don't know. I mean, that's, it looks like a lot of things, but I always say it just needs to be an effort first. You can't just hire someone in an environment that that's racially hostile, that has white supremacy having direct effects on your Black and brown folks. That you're losing people because of racialized microaggressions, and you just hire another person in without sanctioning, firing, and it's some things that you need to do to clean up your workplace first. Another thing is that I don't think there should be a one and only. You need to bring in a critical mass of folks together so that there could be a support system as well. And so those are the two things I start. Like, one, before you bring anybody in, you need to check yourself, right? Clean up your environment, and then bring somebody in, and also be honest with the people that you bring in.
Yeah.
Right? I know let them know that, we have a history of these things. We want to prepare you for these things. What do you need in spite of this? Like, give us some agency to know what we're walking into instead of selling us a dream, right? I think that's
Oop,
She froze again.
She gonna come back in like 2 seconds, or maybe not this time.
Okay, Sarah, what are
So,
your thoughts on that?
I agree with what Kendra said, particularly about, because one of the things I do when I work with clients, and we start talking about is diversity, equity, inclusion. We start with inclusion first, because if you have a homogenous organization where your organization is all white or all male or all women, and you can't get that right, like everyone has a lot of shared identity and there is still a lack of feeling psychologically safe in the workplace among your employees, then we don't need to bring no of color, no neurodivergence, no LGBTQIA plus. We don't need to bring none of that in here. No disabilities, none of that's coming in here.
Right.
You have to get your inclusion right first. So I definitely agree with that. I will also say that in the moments where that may not be possible, I agree also with Kendra about being honest with the person. Like, don't have people being the first and only. They look on the website, you got some stock images, you have some people who used to work there but might have got laid off and didn't update their LinkedIn, and you not. So it looks like the organization is more diverse than it actually is. Don't let people walk into that with a false narrative. And the other thing that I recommend, and I've recommended this to clients many a time, pay those people more, because there is a first of all, we know that people of color are paid less on the dollar than their white counterparts, and even if they are even in highly paid positions. So if they're coming into your organization, there's already an equity piece that's missing.
Yeah.
That you have the opportunity to close the gap, but you also have the opportunity to, dare I say, hazard pay them for the issues that they're going to have to go through by being the first person through the door of their particular identity. And I think there's work in compensating them more, in anticipation of the fact, because it's coming, in anticipation of the fact that their difference is going to be difficult for them. And then one practice that one of my clients started, that, and before I even worked with them, that I thought was great and I have since recommended to others, is paying those individuals for therapy, and also therapy, coaching, and networking, mentoring, outreach to other people like them. So if I am the only one or one of a handful of people like me in the organization, making sure that I'm connected to, if I'm an engineer, making sure that you're paying for my fees for me to join the National Society of Black Engineers, or the National Association of Black HR Professionals, or National, Black Journalists, Black Academicians, like whatever that organization is, making sure that you are giving me funds to plug into those networks, and giving me opportunity to attend those type of events so that I can at least network around people, and find community in that way, since there is unlikely to be community for me within the organization. So those would be, my recommendations there.
Kimya?
Thanks, Sarah K, for cleaning up my answer as I froze and left the building.
Welcome.
Listen, I knew you were coming back on another device, because you are the queen of devices. You got all the devices.
You got 30 minutes left. She's gonna switch devices 4 more times. Watch it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I actually want Kendra to follow up, because I use Kendra's publications for my work. And so I just wanted Kendra to present some recommended readings that Kendra
Oh,
might have, because Kendra's y'all need to understand Dr. Jason's publications that address a whole bunch of issues, including these issues. So is there something you want to give a shout out to, Dr. Jason?
The only book I'm recommending is mine.
Yes,
what is
yes, with
what
the
race?
author.
What is it? Race?
And I
Race
have
and Social
it.
Justice. Hold on. Here we go.
Wait.
An inclusive college through awareness, advocacy, and action.
I
It's
can.
so
All
I
right.
and this is a free download,
Mhm.
so you can
Oh,
purchase it from it's UNC Press. It's all legit. It's UNC Press out of Chapel Hill. You can get the book for $20, but it's also a free digital download for open access. And it's funny, Kimya, and Kimya is like my role model in these things. So I don't really have anyone other than myself to recommend. And I tell you why, because a lot of the books that get a lot of traction and popularity and New York Times bestseller, like I don't adhere to a lot of what they suggest, because it's often white pleasing, right?
yeah.
I'm not saying you have to be, if you will, I don't have a better term for this right now. You don't have to be like militant and like anti-white. You don't have to hit white people over the head. I'm not saying it has to be either or, but there is something that makes it popular. It is something that makes it popular to white people, right? And if you're trying to, if you will, if you're intending to dismantle a system in which they control, then why is it so attractive to them in the first place, right?
Yep.
And so, and I'm not saying, I'm not saying I have a perfect book. It's close to perfect. Now I was playing. I'm
I
not
know
saying
that's right. It's
a
I know that's
perfect
right.
book, but what I try to do is be really honest about the negotiation of self. As like I said, when I opened up, I said, the person the dean who oversaw, if you will, the position, she was like, you'll be building the plane while you're flying it. That actually gives me a lot of agency, right? It gives me a lot of agency, but to Sarah Kay's point, it opens me up to a lot of scrutiny, because even though somebody else don't know how to do it, they go try to tell me what I'm not doing right. And so,
Yeah.
like, and then you also have to not adhere to people who don't know what they're talking about and who don't know like the nuances of this work. I was thinking about when I think, Sarah, you were talking before, and I was just thinking of, how you're on a website and you see like meet the team, and
Yeah.
there's one black person, and I like out of like 20. And I always say to myself, I wonder if they okay.
Mhm.
Oh.
And then the other part of my brain says, I hope they're not too okay. Right? Because if
Huh.
you know what I mean? Like, not that I want our people to deal with racial microaggressions, to deal with toxic workplaces and all those type of things, but it is the nature of the beast of working in a white supremacist organization, right?
Yeah.
And so the question is like, and it goes back to the what I would term that, Sarah, what you were talking about is psychological wages. You need to pay us psychological wages for that extra work that we have to do. You need to pay us psychological wages for my homegirl looking at the website and wonder if I'm okay, because I have to deal with that, seen or unseen, right? And so yes, this book literally just came out like
Yes.
so, and even though it's about inclusive colleges, the principles can be applied across many different organizations. But it has some of the tried and true that you have to support people. It can't be we're not magicians, right? We have to have resources. We have to have budget lines. We have to have staff in order to do the work. And a lot of times these positions are created because, Kimya, what you were talking about before is a lot of times white people, they follow us in theory, but not in practice.
Yeah.
Really, when it's about Black Lives Matter, and I can relate to that, and I can wear my little band that says Black Lives Matter, but when policy changes,
Mhm.
right? Then, the people who were all for it, and I loved how you said it, because I've seen it so many times and experienced it. In the beginning, it's like you and a team of folks. Everybody got your back. But when it comes time to really do that work, then you're standing by yourself, because we don't have the privilege of saying, I don't have the bandwidth to do that, right?
Mhm.
Listen.
Work or it doesn't get done, right? And
Mhm.
have the privilege, literally, this is what white privilege is, to step away and to focus on other things, and their careers and their livelihoods are untouched. But that's
Yeah.
not our story.
Yeah,
So
because if we don't do the work, we like I say this a lot, we are doing the work while we are the work.
yeah,
And
Mm.
so we don't have the luxury of stopping, because when we stop, we hurt ourselves. You
Mhm.
know, we hurt ourselves, we hurt the people.
yeah,
Like, I hurt y'all if I don't do this work. I hurt my nephews and my children who are coming up through the workplace after me
yeah,
if I don't continue this work and try to, lay that foundation and leave that legacy to be, for things to be better than they were when I got here for them. And so it's just an incredible burden
Mm.
that many just that as Kimya says, the outsiders don't, they just don't have to carry, that we do.
yeah.
And that is it's a tough experience, and it absolutely takes a toll on you. As here we are in May, it takes a toll on your health and wellness. It
Absolutely.
100% does.
So
This I wonder if they are okay. I hope they're not okay. They're not too okay. It's resonating.
Word,
Not
yeah,
not
that's a
just amongst us, but clearly in the audience as well. And
mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're okay.
I
I
don't want them to
hope they're
be.
not too okay. And that will preach, because I'm going to tell you again, like when you guys are talking, I'm always reflecting back on experiences that I had. And
yeah,
um, probably one of the question before this one, we were talking about, making sure people feel included and all that. And I was thinking to myself, shoot, it's some people that don't give a damn. Like, if we're just
Mhm.
going to be 100%, like, literally have been in a group
yeah,
of hand picked future Black leaders of, again, a global organization,
yeah,
a safe space, allegedly, and a very Black person. And y'all know what I mean when I say this. A very Black person had the unmitigated gall to say that when they look in the mirror, they don't see a Black person. And to that I say, girl, boy, they fuck you.
yeah.
Like, real talk.
Get the senses on the button. Beep, beep,
sorry,
beep,
sorry,
beep.
mom. I had to, because there's no other way to say that. Like,
Sometimes the word is the only
whew,
word that's
yes.
appropriate. Yeah.
I hope they're not too okay. So that's a great segue to the next question. How much responsibility do we have, or should we have, to ensure that others don't feel first and lonely?
Yeah.
Who are others? Well, who are others?
Those following us, those
people
have.
that feel first and people that are going to be first and onlys, or first and
Oh,
next.
okay.
Like, if
I
I'm
think
I mean,
first,
I mean,
like,
I mean,
if I'm
next,
first and you next,
yes.
then
okay. I thought you
I
were
want
talking
to
about
make sure. Yeah, I don't want to make
No,
sure
no, no.
that you, as the next one,
Yeah, how much
don't feel
responsibility?
lonely
So,
and
like
don't
I
and have
said,
a better experience.
like that person, was. I guess they were in the organization, they were considered my peer. So imagine if they had been a subordinate, for example. And actually, my manager was part of the group, which created a different dynamic.
Yeah,
But that's a different story. But
that
Yeah.
too.
imagine, like, if I was always trying to pour into that person, and they're like, Why you talking to me? Like, why you telling me this shit? Like, I don't give a damn. Like, I'm gonna be all right.
Well, so I'm just gonna be honest. That goes back to what I said earlier about the hoodwink, bamboozling, led astray. A majority of our people, because the work I do, it's about my people. Like that's majority of my health work, my education-based school changing work, and the majority of my own people have been taught from generation to generation to copy and paste from us to advance themselves.
Yeah.
And I will also say that's what happens on LinkedIn as well when people copy and paste from profound posts and they publish a book. So when I say helping our people, that's with an understanding that there's not reciprocity oftentimes. We're not paid, we're not thanked. Our people, and when I say our people, I'm talking about African/Black people, have been taught from the brainwashing to invest 100% of time, effort, and resources into outsiders.
Yeah.
Into comforting outsiders.
Yeah.
Welcoming outsiders, make sure outsiders are okay, embracing outsiders, and they do it on our backs. Now, when a problem strikes, then they align with us and say, yeah, sister, yeah, fight the power, make the change. We're all in the same game. Y'all remember when Michelle said that? But I always tell them I'm not easily impressed and convinced. Like you're not there any other day until white progressives told you you have my permission to be outraged.
What?
So for me, I mentor, I align, but I always tell people you're not gonna fool me though, because I'm already prepared. So if you try to fool me, I'm just going to move on to another segment of our people who know to utilize the resources and not harm each other. So that's what I do.
So with discernment is what I'm hearing.
And it doesn't always work because when you love our people, again, I'm Pan-African, so that's people Pan-African and I'm Black nationalist. So loving our people locally, nationally, and globally means you will be disappointed because our people have been brainwashed to believe that surviving, succeeding, living, breathing requires harming their own people.
Ooh.
So we're going to have to expect that. So I just tell our people, I'm going to still give away resources. Like I spent hundreds of dollars on N95 masks. I do all sorts of work in communities for health. With the understanding that a lot of our people enjoy oppression because oppression has gotten them a book signing deal. Oppression has gotten them a committee. Oppression has gotten them hired by LinkedIn to do trainings.
Shit.
I mean, there's so many. Yeah. Kendra, I'm sorry, you're about to say something.
No. I mean, you made me think of so I believe if I love mentorship, right? For a lot of reasons. And I remember when I was young in the academy, I was judgy of some senior Black faculty members who I didn't feel were putting the effort in to mentor, to outreach, to take me under their wing and all of those things, right? And I've never talked to them about this, so this is part of something. But what I would say from experience is that I think a part of it is that you may not want to mentor someone into your world, right?
Ooh.
If you know it's not a safe space, if you know you've been,
listen,
if
say
you
that,
yeah, if you know that this is the future that holds because your organization has not changed. So funny, I did a mentorship activity today, and it was a potential graduate student. They asked me, they said, how has graduate school changed since you were in graduate school? So let's just say, for sake of conversation, 10, 15 years ago, since I was in graduate school. And I said, it hasn't at all, because it's meant to reproduce itself, right? And so it's just like, if you know that the institution or the organization in which you are a part of is not going to be a safe environment for that young, smart, energetic person, who you share identities with, you may be standoffish. And that's just something. I think this whole conversation really highlights the complexities of negotiating or navigating these spaces, being the one and only or the one and lonely.
That's that's a word too. Another, like I said, sermon for I'm gonna preach this on Sunday. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. So a couple things. Um, I also want to add is when I heard this question, I thought about the like burden. I thought about it more through the lens of like the burden we carry to do well so that we won't be the first and last.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I thought about it from that lens. And that for me is a burden I'm trying to set down and not pick up no more.
okay.
And I won't pretend that that's not difficult, but it is one I'm trying to, because I'm trying to get past the brainwashing, and it is brainwashing, that says to me that I am responsible and representative of all my people.
yeah,
Correct.
And I'm not. I represent myself and what I am capable of doing. What I do has nothing to do with anyone who comes after me, who came before me necessarily, or who stands beside me. I am an individual. And so as Black women, if we want to show up in the workplace and be treated as individuals, then we have to lay down this idea that my performance is going to reflect somehow on all of us, which is an incredibly
yeah,
difficult thing to do, because everything in the way these systems are structured is teaching us that. And there are very few spaces that are telling us otherwise. So that was the first thing. What Kendra said about um, not wanting to mentor someone into your space because you know it's not a safe space is, I would dare say, borderline revolutionary, at least for me, because it's not really something that I had considered before. And it makes me reflect back
mhm,
on people that I've encountered that I didn't connect with, that I
yeah,
felt like I should,
yep,
and I never could quite figure out why it didn't happen. Now,
Yeah.
with me, when it comes to other Black women, and in most cases, people of color, other, Asians, Latinos, etc., I will extend grace, and I flip it to think perhaps someone hurt or mistreated or mistook their mentorship, the offering of their connection and whatever they had to give, and misused it in some way, and that's the reason. And so I'll be as kind as I can be, but I respect this separation that you've put between the two of us. What
mhm,
I have found, in Kirsten, you notice, because we've encountered it in the spaces we occupy, what I find in dealing with white women and men who are unwilling to connect in those ways where we do similar work, we sit in similar spaces, we live in proximity,
In
and
proximity.
there's no reason why we shouldn't be connected, and
mhm,
yet we're still not connected. I'm gonna say the unpopular thing. A lot of times those people is just fraud, and you show up and your brilliance intimidates them
yeah,
Yes.
because you are clearly have studied to show yourself approved, because we don't fail forward the way that our
Woo!
white counterparts do. We don't have the luxury of that. We don't have the luxury of failing upward.
No.
That doesn't work for us, for all the reasons that we've already talked about. And so if I got there, if I'm in the space, they know I'm qualified. They know I showed up because I'm here, because I know what it is that I'm talking about, and I know what it is that I'm doing and how it is that it needs to be done, because I don't have the luxury of sneaking in
Yeah.
that they do. And they're afraid to sit at the table with me because they ain't serving the same level of intellect and experience and work product that I am. And so when that's been my experience, and I have learned to show grace to that too, because every fraud has its day, and you know and it will expose itself in due season. And so I'm at the point now where I'm all about working with the willing. If you want to rock with me, support me, show up for me all night, then I'm gonna rock with you. And if you don't, good luck to you, buddy. And that's all it is, that I have to offer.
And I always got a hip hop reference, so I'm thinking Biz Markie, the Vapors. Can I buy $1? Oh, you're a star now. You got the Vapors. People who trip on you and then they see you successful in your field of expertise, then they want to name drop on you. Then they want you to donate knowledge to them. They want you to donate resources, knowing good and well that it's not sincerity and reciprocity. Right. And I tell people like Biz Markie did, you caught the Vapors.
Or as Christina said, they sneak in and then refuse to make eye contact with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, they know they ain't supposed to be. How did you get here? Like, what in the Deborah Cox of it all? You're not supposed to be here. Like, you're not even supposed to be here.
Afraid, Jamila quoting you, afraid to sit at the table because they ain't serving. Same level of intellect. Whew! Listen, I got I'm still all the way up. That's all I'm gonna say. Anybody else all the way up with me? Nothing can stop me. All right. We're gonna get into
Liam is all the way up. He's so confused. Liam. He is like, why are you in the office? It's time. it's snuggle time, Mom. He is like, oh baby, wrap it up.
All right, well, I ain't gonna hold y'all too long, but I did want to celebrate Kendra's birthday. Yay! So again, happy birthday. So my first rapid fire question is, what's your favorite birthday song? Is it, it could be the Stevie Wonder, it could be 2 Chainz, it could be 50
Uncle
Cent.
Luke.
It could,
Uncle Luke.
July.
Oh yeah, it could be Uncle Luke.
November.
All right, so birthday girl, what's your favorite birthday song?
So my Uncle Luke get me hype on his birthday song. I like
that birthday girl.
That time for the birthday girl. Okay.
Why we all twatting in the
You so dirty, South.
I do like the 50 Cent. I do like the go show. It's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. We gonna sip a party like it's your birthday.
Any good DJ will blend that in with Luke.
They will. That's true.
Because they already know.
Kimya. Is it Stevie Wonder?
Thank you.
No, mine is Luke. No, I'm the first.
All right. Second question, and we only got 3 because Kendra got to go back to being fabulous on her birthday.
Being grown acting.
I love it. Oh, we love you, Yvette. Oh,
thank you.
Oh. Birthday celebrations at work? Yes, no, perhaps.
Perhaps.
I like birthday celebrations off-site with coworkers.
Okay, off-site. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a perhaps. Like I've seen it go. Like I've had experiences where that has gone very well. And then I've seen situations where it's gone not as well. So I'm a perhaps on that. I will tell a horror story right quick.
Yeah.
I worked for a company and they would do one of those, everybody whose birthday is in the month kind of celebrations. And then we all come in the break room, we sing happy birthday to everybody. Everybody gets a little gift, like usually it's a gift card or something. And then there's one big cake with everybody's name on it. The person who was responsible for, and this is important, who was responsible for the planning of that each month did not like my black ass. Okay, she did not. And don't you know?
Tell me they didn't get you a chocolate cake.
She damn sure did. Now we ain't have chocolate cake, y'all. For those who don't know, I'm allergic to chocolate, so we didn't have chocolate cake no other time of the year. But suddenly it's July. And this hoe don't like me, and the cake is chocolate. So
I had a similar situation, not because they didn't like me, but because they didn't think about me. Because I was the party planner in the office. Like I did it big, but y'all know why. I mean, we're not gonna get into that long history of why I celebrate birthdays, big deals. So I was the one that would be like, okay, this time everybody show up. I would put decorations, everything. My birthday, these people gave me a freaking ice cream cake. I am lactose intolerant.
She is lactose intolerant.
Yes, okay. I am lactose intolerant. Not that wench. We have a that wench and a trifling.
Thank y'all. Shout out. It's always good to have friends in the chat.
Yeah, shout out to Yvette. Shout out to Christina. Kimya at work, yes or no?
It depends. I mean, in academia, it was fun because in my department, we were a small department, so we're just very close. So we would have seen each other anyway. But in general, no, because we ain't cool like that. And I don't like potluck stuff like that.
Oh no, I ain't say no.
So like,
that's a different conversation.
I mean, the off-site, you ain't got no potluck.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: if we ain't cool like that, I don't even want to hang out off-site. Like, I'm not a fan of like staff meetings and stuff anyway. So for me, this is another staff meeting with happy birthday at the top. So, like happy birthday to me is you ain't gotta come.
I will tell a happy story. So
yes, please.
To kind of redeem. So we had one of our coworkers was always the first person there and the last person to leave. And so our team, we would decorate each other's, desks and cubicles, and we would chip in and get cake and snacks and, really do it for everybody's birthday. And we would still go to lunch. Like, it's a thing. But she the first one there and the last one to leave. So we had to fake a meeting. So I put a meeting on her calendar. We had a fake agenda and everything.
I love it.
And just to get her away from her work area long enough
so that y'all could decorate.
So we could decorate it. And then we came out the meeting and she was scared to death because I don't call meetings last minute. So it was like, I was like, hey, we got a situation. I need us to huddle right quick and talk through. And I had to like fabricate a whole thing. And she was like, to this day, like she'll still be like, you remember that time?
She thought they was passing out folders.
Exactly. Like, oh man. So I brought you in here. Like she thought I was about to slide her some papers. Yeah, but all we was doing was trying to decorate her desk. So
you are HR, so
I know, but see, I'm the HR person that talks to people. So if I'm not only talking to you when it's time for you to slide that paper across to you to let you know you don't work here no more.
Laura said, "Just let me sign the card to get a cupcake."
I know that's right. I
know, Aura. Oh my goodness, the Black Christmas is online.
Black Christmas is in the building.
Girl. All right, last question. It's a double. Best gift you ever gave, best gift you ever got for your birthday.
You mean someone I gave
that you received? Best gift you ever received, best gift you ever gave someone else for their birthday.
Oh, the best gift I ever gave is easy. So last year, I surprised my husband with a trip to the Dominican Republic.
Oh.
And he didn't know 24 hours before. I told him
That is
I was like,
nice.
we were making plans for the weekend. I said, "Oh, you're not going to your brother's house. We go be on the plane." So that was cool. So we did a family trip for like 5 days to the DR.
I love it.
So I would say that's the best one I get, because I had to keep it under wraps. I kind of got scared because I had to keep it under wraps for 6 months. And I was able to keep this under wraps for 6 months. Like, who am I? I could keep such a big. It's like living a double life.
It is. That's impressive.
Hey! Keep that to yourself. Don't tell people that you can keep a secret for 6 months. That's no.
That's I'm impressed.
Time out. Flag on the plate. Flag.
I ever received. What comes to mind is a good friend of mine took me out. She planned a whole day for me. This was like 50 years. We went to the spa. She went too. So everything I was enjoying, she was enjoying too. So you know how we do it. But I had, at that point, I never had someone plan a whole day around me. Cause I'm like, y'all, I'm the planner. I'm the one who do all the surprises and the things. And so the fact that someone did that for me was very, very, very touching.
Shout out. All right.
She's also a Sarah, no surprise.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Kimya.
I remember her. Huh?
Best gift you gave, best gift you received.
Oh, I'm not a gift giver, and I don't really like receiving gifts. I really like people to save money, and I like to have fun any daggone time. So
time out. Okay, Sarah raised her hand. You did the ushers have
I gift you a unique song every year.
Yes, the song. Because our birthdays are day apart.
Yes.
So that is a lovely thing.
I'm sometimes the baritone, depends on how I feel that year.
Happy birthday. Last year I did a 3-part remix of Joyful Joyful.
You did.
Ooh.
For her birthday, like Lauryn Hill sang the original part, and then the choir sang, and I did the whole thing.
And when you sing that long, the person has to listen to it, because some devices will delete it if the person don't listen to it. And you done did all that song, and you're like, I didn't do that falsetto and everything. you better listen to that.
Yeah. So yes.
So those are my gifts. Yeah.
Yes, those are gifts given and received.
They are.
I think I still remember being 9 years old and getting my Cabbage Patch corn soup.
Yes.
That was really meaningful, because I didn't really think that was gonna happen.
I know that's right.
She was in the box and everything. Shout out to my redheaded Cabbage Patch, Amber.
Shout out to Amber.
Antique now, right? You still
She is. Yeah, she's still in the closet.
In the box. Oh,
in the box.
Oh,
I still have the original one. I still have my 3 originals. Yeah, and then
you gave.
That I gave. I can't remember. I will say Yvette is here, and she just touched her 50th birthday, and we threw a surprise dinner for her with her husband, and she did not know. And the best part is, like, our whole friend group was on the way to the dinner, and she's texting us pictures like, "Oh, my husband is taking me out. Oh, look what I got on." And we are hyping her up. We're like, "Oh yeah, girl, you look good, girl."
I love it.
Red lips. You and Kendra are both phony. Y'all lied to folks.
Knowing full well. Right. And we were like, we had to. It was a whole coordinated effort, because, and Kirsten knows this because I make her do it. Like, we share location, because I got to make sure y'all are okay. So I was like, okay, everybody turn their location off. So she's like, why everybody location off? I was like, I don't know. iPhone tripping. Like, we made up the whole thing. And then we got there and walked in, and she was like, oh my God. So it was great. Yeah, that was fun.
It's like I love it. Girlfriends.
I have 2 best. And they're both very creative, because it's hard to surprise me, because even my surprise parties, I plan them. Like, you are not about to give me something that I don't want. Like, please don't do that to me. But my line sisters,
Message.
my line sisters
All
threw me a
96, y'all just
surprise
did.
party with a pink and green theme.
We did. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yes, we did.
I tried to forget about that on purpose because that's.
I forgot about that. We did.
And I was so mad at them the whole day because no one said happy birthday to me. It was my 20th birthday, and
we did that.
And I went down into the basement.
I was your
North
friend
Court.
at the time, but I wasn't your line sister, so it wasn't my fault.
But I went down to the basement of North Court, and I was assaulted by
because we faked the whole. We faked the chapter meeting and everything.
Yeah, I was so mad.
I wasn't there. So I'm just an innocent bystander.
My 40th birthday was. I was pissed again because nobody planned me a surprise party that I was a part of, but I did. But I did get a trip to Miami, and one of my line sisters was in on it, so it was made. They did make sure that I was taken care of and all that. But I didn't even know where I was going until I got to the airport, and I had to get my ticket. That was when I found out. So that was great. And the best gift I gave another two for my parents. Both just had milestone birthdays in the past 2 years, and my sister turned 50. My father turned 75 on the same day. We gave them a surprise party. My dad knew nothing about it. My sister thought it was only for my dad, and her dumb ass was sitting around like, and we were like, everybody's like, it's for you too. And she's like, because she didn't realize why. Like, some of her friends were there. She was like, oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, my daddy.
I did for my mother's 75th because she didn't want a birthday party. But I got her a whole theme of stuff everything that happened in 1947. Yeah, so those were her birthday gifts, and I enjoyed doing that for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right.
All right. So yeah, it has been wonderful. Once again, happy birthday to happy 44. Happy president birthday to Kendra Jason. Please buy her book. I'm putting the free link here, but I am going to say, as a birthday gift to Kendra, I'm going to gift 4 books, the actual book.
Thank you.
What you have to do is watch this. Okay, you watch it, and then you send me a DM. What is your favorite part? Send it on LinkedIn. You can send it on Facebook. You can send it on Instagram. You can send it on the Twitter. Let me know what was your favorite part and say, yes, I would like a book. The first 4 people to do that will get a free book from me. Happy birthday.
Nice birthday present. Thank you.
And then we're back next week. Same time.
Same place.
Back channel. New topic. Still talking about Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you all for joining. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. See you next time.
I'm dreaming.